It was just another boring Tuesday at the factory. The kind of day where even the machines seemed to be yawning. Mark, the guy who'd been working here since dinosaurs roamed the earth, okay, maybe just since the 90s, was about to take a snack break. As he stretched his arms, he noticed something weird. No, it wasn't his lunch that had mysteriously disappeared again. This was weirder. There was a hand. A tiny, pale hand sticking out from under the giant machinery. All right, I'm officially losing it, Mark thought, rubbing his eyes. Maybe the fumes were getting to him. He squinted, and yep, it was definitely a hand. No mistaking that. It wasn't a stray sock or tool. It was a hand. Mark stepped closer, his heart rate picking up. Am I hallucinating, or is this the most dramatic moment of my entire life? He crouched down and whispered, if this is some prank, I'm going to be so mad. But nope, the hand didn't move like a sock would. It was a real, human hand. Someone was under there. Okay. This escalated quickly, Mark thought. He had a gut feeling this wasn't just a Lost Keys situation. This was serious. Before we dive into this story, leave a comment telling us where in the world you're watching from today, and if you enjoy this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Mark's first thought? Do I run? Do I scream? Do I call 911? Or, do I do something cooler, like save the day? He checked for a pulse. Because, if the hand didn't belong to a live person, that might make things even weirder. And then, it happened. The girl groggily opened her eyes. Mark nearly fainted. Is this some hidden camera show? Am I on TV? Hey, kid, you good? He asked. Because apparently, when you're in a crisis, your first instinct is to sound like a friendly neighborhood superhero. The girl blinked, looked around, and muttered, What happened? I was hiding. Mark stared at her, trying to process. Hiding? Under a pile of metal? That's your big plan? Okay, let's get you out of here before the machines decide to start a new kind of close encounter, Mark said, trying to make light of the situation. But he was seriously freaking out. A child under heavy machinery? Was she trapped? Who put her there? Mark looked around, half expecting the factory workers to break out in applause. But no one was there. It was just him and the mysterious girl. All right, let's move quickly before someone thinks I'm just messing with the equipment, Mark muttered, scooping her up like she weighed as much as a bag of flour. As Mark started moving her toward safety, he realized one important thing: he didn't know where the heck he was going. You're going to help me, right, mysterious girl? Because I'm literally making this up as I go, Mark thought, looking around frantically. The girl, still groggy, whispered, I'm scared. I wasn't supposed to be here. Mark stopped in his tracks. What do you mean? Was someone chasing you? Is this some Spy Kids situation? The girl shook her head. No, not like that. But I saw something. Someone was coming for me. Oh, great, Mark thought. I saved a girl, and now we're in a real-life horror movie. He tried to shake it off, but the factory's giant machines now felt like they were closing in on him, and his phone was out of service. I'm going to need a bigger lunch break after this, he muttered, his heart pounding like a jackhammer. Mark to the rescue, Mark to the rescue, he said under his breath. Maybe if he said it enough, it would be true. He glanced back at the girl, who now looked more awake and slightly panicked. Yeah, this definitely wasn't in the job description, he said. No one ever told me I'd be saving the day like this. Okay, so, who put you under a giant machine in a factory? Mark asked, trying to sound calm while internally freaking out. The girl frowned and said, I don't know. I just woke up there. Mark couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Woke up under a machine? Was there a sleepover club under the conveyor belt? No, I was hiding, she said. I saw something I wasn't supposed to. Alright, I'm officially confused. You're telling me someone's playing some sick game in the factory, and you just happen to be the lucky contestant? Mark asked. I didn't want to see it. But now, I know I have to stop it, she said with a serious look on her face. Mark's eyes widened. Stop what? Are we talking about a top-secret factory conspiracy? Should I be calling the FBI right now? The girl didn't answer. She just kept looking over her shoulder, like someone, or something, was about to pop out of the shadows. Mark quickly glanced around. Okay, this is officially more intense than my what's for lunch dilemma. With that, the tension in the air thickened. Someone, maybe something, was after the girl. And Mark had no idea how deep this rabbit hole went. Alright, let's get out of here. I'll protect you, kid, Mark said, feeling like the most unprepared hero ever. The girl nodded, but she still looked worried. I think they're already watching us. Mark froze. Who? The factory ghosts? The secret underground boss? My lunch bill? You gotta give me more to go on. I'll explain later. Just keep moving, she said, looking like she was about to start a sprint that would leave Mark in the dust. Mark, still trying to play it cool, shot a quick glance behind him. Well, at least I'm getting some cardio today. He was determined to get this girl out of here, but the more he thought about it, the more he realized he had absolutely no idea what he was walking into. Was someone really after her? Or had she just gotten lost in the factory? The suspense was building. Maybe I should just put her on my shoulders and run like an action hero. We'd make it out in style, Mark thought. Too bad he wasn't a professional athlete. The girl turned back. You don't understand. Someone's coming for me. Mark, now fully invested in his new mission, nodded. Alright, time to be the hero I never signed up to be. Alright, let's get you out of here. The only thing that should be hidden in this factory is the pizza I'm about to eat later, Mark said, trying to lighten the mood. 2, but as they hurried through the factory, Mark couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Is it just me, or does it feel like every machine is eyeballing us right now? 3, the girl glanced nervously behind them. I told you. They're already here. 4, Mark whipped around. Who's here? The ghost of misplaced tools? The factory manager's bad haircut? 5, the girl just shook her head, her eyes wide. No, it's not like that. It's worse. 6, worse? Is this a horror movie? Should I start running in slow motion? Mark asked with a grin, though his heart was starting to race. 7, the girl stopped, grabbed his arm, and whispered urgently, You don't understand. They control everything here. They can see us. They can hear us. They know what we're doing. 8, Mark laughed nervously. Okay, I get it. So, we're in some kind of weird factory horror movie. Should I start looking for the exit, or is there a survive the night survival kit I should be carrying? 9, she didn't respond, just kept glancing over her shoulder. Mark's stomach twisted. Was she talking about actual people? Or something else? 10, alright, enough with the suspense, kid. Let's just get you to safety. The last thing I need is a factory chase scene, Mark muttered, picking up the pace. The quiet hum of the factory machines was now replaced by something far more unnerving, footsteps. Great, Mark whispered to himself. Just when I thought this day couldn't get more interesting. He glanced down at the girl, who was now practically glued to his side, looking like she had seen a ghost, or worse. Is it them? Mark asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Yes. We need to move faster, the girl urged, her voice shaking. Mark, despite the terror building in his chest, couldn't help but crack a joke. Move faster? I'm already trying to outrun a heart attack here. But then, just as they reached a corner of the factory, Mark stopped. He swore he saw someone, or something, lurking in the shadows. His heart skipped a beat. Did you see that? Or am I just imagining things because of all the coffee I drank this morning? The girl nodded, her face pale. They're getting closer. We have to hide. Hide? Mark exclaimed. Where? This factory is a maze of metal. Should we hide in one of those giant machines? Maybe I can fit in a drill press, no? Okay. The two of them darted through the factory, Mark's mind racing for a plan that didn't involve getting caught or making a complete fool of himself. Maybe I can use the machines as a shield? Mark thought. I've watched enough action movies. I'll just dive behind something dramatic. They passed rows of machines that looked like something out of a futuristic dystopia, each one humming with a life of its own. The girl looked up at him with wide eyes. We can't just hide here. We need to get out. Out? Oh, we're definitely going out, all right. We're going to the VIP exit, kid. With no security guards. And definitely no one chasing us, Mark joked, but his nerves were starting to get the best of him. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps grew louder. That's it, no more joking around. We need a plan that doesn't involve me doing something stupid. Follow me, the girl said. She moved quickly, her feet light on the cold concrete floor, and Mark had no choice but to follow. When in doubt, trust the person who knows the escape route. They turned down a narrow hallway, their footsteps muffled by the thick industrial carpeting. Mark couldn't believe he was in this situation. A factory worker, just trying to get through the day, and now he was running for his life with a mysterious girl. What's the worst that could happen, right? Mark muttered, though his voice cracked with nervousness. Oh wait, don't answer that. Wait, I know where we are. Mark said, suddenly remembering a little-known section of the factory. The girl glanced at him skeptically. Are you sure? I thought you were just walking me around in circles. No, I'm pretty sure. There's a secret door around here somewhere. It's the back entrance that the big bosses use to sneak out when they're in trouble. A secret door? This is like some Indiana Jones thing. I'm about to find a treasure chest or a giant boulder, aren't I? Mark joked. The girl smiled faintly, her nervousness easing a little. I'm not sure about treasure, but the exit is this way. Mark rushed after her, trying to keep up with her quick pace. All right, this secret exit better lead me to a hot meal and a comfy chair. They reached the hidden door, and Mark pushed against it. It creaked open, revealing a small, dimly lit room. Nice. I'm officially in a secret hideout. Someone hand me my cape and a cool villain name, Mark said, trying to break the tension. The girl stepped inside. This is it. We're safe, for now. Mark closed the door behind them, but he couldn't shake the feeling that their journey was far from over. Just as Mark and the girl settled into the small room, the unmistakable sound of heavy footsteps echoed down the hallway. Looks like they found us, Mark muttered. This is where things get fun, huh? They won't stop, the girl whispered. We have to move now. Mark looked around the room, his mind racing. Okay, I've always wanted to be in a high-stakes chase scene. This is my moment. He pushed a large crate in front of the door, hoping it would buy them some time. The girl, now visibly anxious, glanced at him. What do we do now? Now? We make a run for it. Mark said, trying to sound confident, though his legs felt like they were about to give out. Suddenly, the door rattled. They had only moments before someone busted it down. All right, time to be the hero I never signed up to be, Mark said, pulling the girl toward the back of the room. Follow me, and don't look back. Mark shouted, knowing their escape was anything but certain. The air was thick with tension as Mark and the girl sprinted through the dark corridors of the factory. Mark had one thought on his mind: run like you're escaping a giant, angry bear. A bear that really hates your guts. The girl, surprisingly, was keeping up with him, her eyes darting nervously behind them. They're getting closer. No kidding, Mark said. Do you see the speed on these legs? I could win a gold medal if there were an Olympic event for running away from creepy factory people. The sound of footsteps grew louder. Mark's heart pounded like a drum. Great. Can't even outrun a pair of boots. This is why I should have gone for that jog this morning. They turned a corner and Mark almost collided with a giant stack of boxes. Okay, this factory needs to rethink their interior design. It's a maze. Hurry, the girl urged, tugging at his sleeve. It's not just people we're running from. Wait, what? You mean the creepy machinery has joined the chase now? Are the walls going to start chasing us too? Should I be looking for giant rats next? Mark's voice cracked, half joking and half freaking out. The girl gave him a serious look. The machines, they're not just machines anymore. Hold up, what does that even mean? Are they, like, alive? Please tell me I didn't just sign up for a factory version of Terminator, Mark replied, his eyes wide. As they continued running, the girl suddenly stopped, causing Mark to almost trip over her. What now? Mark whispered, trying to catch his breath. The girl pointed ahead. The door's just up ahead. But we need to be careful. They'll be waiting for us. Mark glanced nervously around. Great, so not only are we escaping a secret factory, but it's now a deadly obstacle course. I hope they have snack breaks in this kind of chase. Focus, the girl urged. You don't understand. The factory, it's been here for years, and it's been hiding something. Yeah, like the running factory people chasing us right now. But I'll bite. What's it hiding? A treasure chest of gold? A secret plot for world domination? Mark asked, trying to crack a joke to hide his nerves. The girl's voice dropped to a whisper. No, it's not gold. It's worse. Worse than running for our lives? I think I can handle that, Mark said, though his heart was pounding in his chest. She hesitated. The factory isn't just making things, it's making something else. Something alive. Mark's brain short-circuited for a second. Wait, are you telling me the machines are making robots? Zombies? What is this, a low-budget sci-fi movie? 1. The girl nodded grimly. Worse. It's creating creatures. Half human, half machine. 2. Mark froze in his tracks. Hold up, what did you just say? Did you say half human, half machine? 3. The girl quickly grabbed his arm and pulled him forward. Hurry! We don't have time to explain. They'll be here any second. 4. Mark, trying to process the information, muttered, half human, half machine. Is this factory run by mad scientists? Was there a secret factory for creepy cyborgs brochure I missed? 5. They burst through a narrow door into another corridor, the sound of pursuing footsteps fading behind them. For a moment, they were safe. But not for long. 6. The girl, now visibly scared, spoke urgently. It started years ago. They began experimenting on workers, turning them into machines. 7. Mark raised an eyebrow. Are you saying this factory made a cyborg army? Should I expect a cyborg version of myself any minute now, running around calling me useless? 8. Yes, exactly, she said, her voice shaking. And now, they're trying to finish the experiment. You and me, we're the next test subjects. 9. Mark stopped dead in his tracks. What? No way. I didn't sign up for this. I thought I was just here for a nice day at the factory, working hard, doing my job, maybe even getting a lunch break. 10. The girl grabbed his arm, her grip tight. We need to go now, or we'll end up like them. As they continued to move through the factory, Mark kept trying to process the situation. Half human, half machine? What had he gotten himself into? So, let me get this straight, Mark said, trying to lighten the mood. This place is basically a bargain bin for Frankenstein? What's next? A cyborg cat? The girl didn't laugh. Instead, she kept her pace steady, glancing over her shoulder every few seconds. We have to find the control room. It's the only way to shut everything down. Right. Control room. We're totally doing this like it's a video game now. I'm ready for some boss fights, Mark said, trying to get his head in the game. Suddenly, a voice echoed down the hallway. You can't run forever. Mark spun around, his heart racing. Who said that? Was that the cyborg overlord? Or, are we getting invaded by robots now? The girl stiffened. It's him. The one who runs the experiments. Mark squinted down the hallway. Oh, great. This just keeps getting better. I was hoping for a lunch break, not an end-of-the-world scenario. We don't have time for jokes, the girl snapped. We need to move, now. Okay, I'm moving, Mark said, now feeling the weight of the situation settle in. As they neared the control room, the sounds of footsteps behind them grew louder. All right, this is it, Mark said, trying to muster some confidence. Time to stop playing around and put an end to this factory nightmare. The girl nodded, but she looked more worried than ever. We need to be fast. Once they lock us in, there's no escape. Well, that's a cheery thought. Let's not get locked in. How about we bust in instead? Mark said, eyes scanning for an entrance. They reached the control room door, and Mark hesitated. Do I knock, or do I just make a grand entrance? This is a factory, not a party. We're not here for a party, the girl said sternly. We need to end this now. With a deep breath, Mark pushed open the door, ready to face whatever was waiting for them. The room was filled with rows of machines, their screens flickering with strange data. In the middle of it all stood a figure. Well, the figure said, stepping out of the shadows. Look who decided to join the party. Mark raised an eyebrow. Great, I knew we were going to have a party, but I wasn't expecting you to bring the evil genius costume. The mysterious figure stepped into the dim light, revealing a lab coat and glasses that looked like they were straight out of a bad spy movie. Mark couldn't help himself. Ah, the classic evil scientist look. You've got the whole vibe, do you have the villain laugh too? The girl, whispering urgently, grabbed his arm. Don't provoke him. We need to focus. Mark raised his hands in mock surrender. What? I'm just saying, if you're going for the mad scientist thing, you've nailed it. The hair, the coat, and the creepy vibe. You're a walking stereotype. The scientist, unfazed, sneered. I don't have time for your jokes. You've already ruined everything by coming here. Now, you'll both pay the price. Great, Mark muttered. I always wanted to be part of an experimental operation. Especially when it involves, escaping with my life. You've both meddled with forces you don't understand, the scientist continued, his voice growing darker. Mark leaned in. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? Getting caught in the middle of a messed up factory experiment? Seems like we're definitely in the understanding phase. The girl looked like she was going to strangle him with her bare hands. Mark, please, can we focus on the life or death situation right now? Right, focus, Mark said, clearing his throat. Now, what exactly are you planning to do with us? Feed us to your cyborgs? The scientist chuckled darkly, clearly not amused. You have no idea what you're dealing with. This factory has created the perfect machine, human and machine combined. Mark raised an eyebrow. And here I thought this place was all about making toasters. Guess I was wrong. You think this is a joke? The scientist hissed, his hands shaking. You're standing in the middle of my life's work. These creatures, they're superior beings. Mark crossed his arms. So, let me get this straight. You're playing God, mixing human and machine, and you expect me to applaud? Do I get a trophy for surviving this whole disaster? The girl spoke up, her voice shaking. What do you want from us? Why us? The scientist finally seemed to calm down, but the smirk on his face only made Mark more suspicious. You don't know it yet, but you're already part of the experiment. Mark blinked. Wait, so you're telling me I didn't sign up for a factory job? I'm not even getting paid for this. What is this? A scam? The scientist sighed, clearly losing patience. No, it's not a scam. I'm going to combine you two into the perfect beings, cyborgs who will serve my every command. Okay, Mark said, stepping back. I have one request before we move forward. Can we at least get some snacks first? You know, something to enjoy while I become a robot slave? The girl grabbed Mark's arm again, pulling him towards the control panel. Forget about the snacks. We need to stop him now. 1. Mark looked at the control panel, his mind racing. Okay, so we're facing down a mad scientist, a factory full of half-cyborg monsters, and, wait, are those wires plugged into the walls like we're in some sort of high-tech haunted house? 2. The girl was frantic now. We have to disable the system before he can do anything. If we don't, we're finished. 3. Mark glanced at the scientist, who was watching them closely. So, how do we do this? Press the big red button labeled Evil Genius Mode. 4. The girl pointed to a series of blinking lights on the panel. There's a master switch. We just need to pull it. 5. Mark rubbed his chin. A big red button? Of course there is. There's always one of those in every spy movie, right? Let's press it and hope for the best. 6. The scientist let out a frustrated sigh. You're too late. You can't stop me now. 7. Mark grinned. You know, I was never great at physics, but I'm pretty sure if we hit that switch, it'll be game over for you. 8. Not for long, the scientist snapped. You won't get the chance. 9. The girl took a deep breath. We have one shot. Mark, do you think you can distract him long enough? 10. Mark looked at her, then at the scientist. Oh, I've got this. I've been practicing my dramatic speeches for years. Time to show off my skills. Mark stepped forward, puffing out his chest like he was auditioning for a movie role. You know, I've always had a problem with evil scientists who think they're the next big thing. I mean, seriously, do you ever read the room? The scientist just stared at him. What are you doing? Mark smiled. You're about to meet your doom, my friend. And it's going to be epic. The scientist rolled his eyes. This is ridiculous. Oh, it's about to get more ridiculous, Mark said, as he grabbed the nearest chair and hurled it across the room. The distraction worked. The scientist turned his head just enough for the girl to reach the control panel and pull the master switch. Lights flickered and alarms blared as the factory's machinery ground to a halt. The control room's lights dimmed, and the strange hum in the air stopped. Mark looked at the scientist with a smirk. Guess that's game over for you, buddy. The scientist's face twisted in disbelief. You can't, you don't. We do, Mark said, walking towards the exit with the girl. And we're getting out of here, before the bargain bin Frankenstein army wakes up. 1. As they ran towards the exit, Mark let out a deep breath. I don't know about you, but I think I'm ready for a vacation after that. 2. The girl, now visibly relieved, nodded. I don't think I'll ever look at factories the same way again. 3. Mark grinned. No kidding. I'm done with secret experiments and cyborgs for the rest of my life. I'll take a beach and a margarita, thanks. 4. They made it outside, and the sun greeted them like an old friend. Freedom. It felt amazing. 5. Mark turned to the girl. So, are we going to get some snacks now, or what? 6. She laughed, shaking her head. You never give up, do you? 7. Nope, Mark replied, because after surviving that, I think I've earned the right to eat all the snacks in the world. 8. As they walked away from the factory, Mark couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. He had survived the craziest day of his life and made some jokes along the way. 9. You know, Mark said, glancing at the girl, we should probably file a report or something. Or at least call the cops, or maybe just let them handle it. 10. The girl smiled. Yeah, maybe. But for now, let's just get out of here.